Good day. Today I want to talk a little bit about the subconscious mind, but in the framework of New Year's resolutions, because people around me, and I'm sure people around you, make New Year's resolutions because they want to do something differently, quit something, get better at something, and it's all coming from a good place. And you can tell because I think truly, as humans, we want to do better for ourselves. We truly do. But it also comes down to a consciousness thing. Where is your consciousness at? Um, as far as what it takes to actually make those changes. But the subconscious plays a big role in that. And I'll give you an example here. There's a guy I work with. He gigantic smoker. I had to look around, make sure he wasn't here because I'm at work making this video. Um, and he smokes a lot. He's the type of person he'll sit in the truck, smoke a cigarette, roll the window down, smoke a cigarette. When he's done smoking, he'll roll the window up, and maybe not even 2 minutes, 3 minutes goes by, he's rolling it down, and I'm like, man, you could have just kept the window down for all of that, like you just should have just kept it down because you're gonna smoke another one and you're gonna smoke another one after that. But he told me that I didn't say anything about smoking. Obviously, he brought this up to me that New Year comes around, he's quitting smoking, and just me knowing how much he smokes, the level of smoking he does, and the quantity of cigarettes that he smokes a lot. Like he's one of the most he smokes more than a lot of people that I've ever seen in my life. And so when he's telling me he's going to quit, New Year comes around, he's going to quit and start smoking a vape. He's going to transfer it to a vape. And I understand where he's coming from with that because people think that's automatically a solution. And whether it is or whether it isn't, that's not for me to say. I think there's positives in doing that and switching to that, but there's also negatives, and it's also kind of keeping you in the same loop, really, when you look at it deep down. But he said he's going to switch to that when the New Year comes. Well, New Year came, come back to work after New Year, and he's still smoking on cigarettes. And his his reasoning is because he says, well, I still have like 4 or 5 packs left. I'm going to go through that first, and then I'm going to start the vape. And I'm like, okay, I got you. But deep down, I'm thinking to myself, I've seen this all my life. Like people say they're going to quit something and they don't. And it goes back to what I said. I really truly think people want to make the better decisions for themselves. But where they get caught up at, they don't even know the root cause of why they can't keep up with these expectations of betterment for themselves. And I fall in this category too on certain things. I'm not above reproach, and I know this about myself. Comes down to a conscious thing though. Also, like I say, how conscious are you in your thoughts? Are you aware of a subconscious at all? Because even if I bring up subconscious with some of these people, they might hear me while I'm talking, but they'll forget it the minute we done talking. But your subconscious holds a lot of things that you gathered from when you were younger, a lot of the patterns that you gained from seeing how people act around you and your family, and you know, as I'm sure many of you know if you're watching this, from the minute you're born to about 7 years old, you're constantly downloading information. There's no filter that filters things out. You're just kind of picking things up and it goes straight to your subconscious. And then once you reach 7, 8 years old, it's a hardwired program at that point, right? So if you picked up things such as addictions and whatnot, it's usually coming from something from that in the past that your subconscious is playing on loop. And to get out of that, well, you have to first be aware of your subconscious, and then after that, be aware of your thoughts, and then be aware and understand why you're doing these things, and catch yourself out on it. It's a long process. It's a part of the healing process also, and a lot of people don't want to heal themselves or even think they need to be healed, right? And it's not for me to say if they do or don't. That's their life. Just looking at it from a perspective, just looking at it as an observation. But it's kind of sad though because I've had people in my family that want to stop eating sweets, or they'll buy sweets every week, and then he said, "That's it after this." And in my mind, I even say it to them, because I just can't keep my mouth shut sometimes about these things because it's like I know the game, like I can see through this. They can't though, and that's the part that I need to understand. No matter what I say, if they're not making the groundwork on them, if they're not making out the groundwork on themselves, then it's not for me to just butt in and be sarcastic and doubt them, because it doesn't help. It just kind of adds fuel to the fire of them automatically going to be doing this again. Once they'll say, after all this sweet that I got right here, this is it. I'm done. But you've said this so many times. This has happened before. And so you're going to do it again, whether you want to or not. You're going to do it again because there's a subconscious at play. Plain and simple, Until you gather that, till you get in the nitty gritty of the subconscious and see all those patterns, see all of that nasty stuff that you've accumulated, it'll stay the same. But I mean, if you look at it and you're willing to look at it and you're willing to look at yourself more seriously and your habits and your tendencies, then you have the power to transmute and change all that and actually make a change. And like I said, I'm not beyond this myself. I'm a part of this in ways. I'm getting better at it. I have an understanding of it. And so that's why I'm making this video in the first place, because I do have an understanding of it, and I'm starting to program my subconscious in a way that helps me instead of limits me and keeps me in a loop. Right? And I wish that for every single person in my life, every single person on this planet, to have that discovery and have that understanding of self so that you can make these changes on your own and for the betterment of yourself. Because like I said, deep down, that's all I want, is for them to see that, understand where it's coming from, and then make the changes on their own. But the thing is, this is a self journey, right? No matter what I say, no matter what tips I give them, if they're not ready to hear it, they're not going to hear it. And that's the thing that hurts the most, especially when it's loved ones and you really genuinely want to help them, but they don't have the capacity to be helped. And you have to understand that too and know when to step away and just show support no matter what, with whatever they do, Whenever they say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, give them the support. Don't do like I do, like I said, be a little sarcastic and kind of call their bluff, because it doesn't help. From my experience, it just doesn't help. You would think it would help, you'd think it would be like, well, if I just show them support and I know that they are going to go back and revert back to ways that are not going to help them, then you kind of like enabling them in a way. But I don't see that now. I see that as, well, they're going to do what they want regardless. So you might as well show support out of love instead of sarcasm or just doubt them even further, because that's not going to help. None of it's going to help. So if none of the ways that I say is going to help, I'm just going to show support as best I can. And hopefully one day they take a little bit of what I'm saying about the subconscious and how it rules you, and hopefully that'll, awaken something in them one day to where they can like take that piece of information and then maybe it'll spark something in their mind, and at least they'll have that. They'll have what I said to them. Maybe they don't take it for what it's worth, but at least you opened up the relationship to that, for them to take this information and think about it, and maybe one day it'll make sense. But yeah, the subconscious mind, I know whenever I first learned about it, how much of an eye opener that was to a lot of the things that were going wrong or perceived to go wrong in my life. And that I was like, oh, the subconscious is control of this. Like, that was a big eye opener for me, because it meant that I was taking my power back, and it was things inside of me that I could look at and I can change. And it wasn't anything outside of me that was holding me down. Like, it wasn't no longer a victim mindset. It was like a self-empowering thing. It was like, okay, well, I control this. I can change this. If it's coming from me, I can change it, right? And that's a beautiful thing that I hope everyone finds out for themselves. But it's getting cold out here. It's been cold all day. But yeah, just a quick video about the subconscious. Maybe I'll make another video on it, because it's a deep subject and you can go on forever with it, really. But yeah, hope you all had a good day. Catch you on the next one. Peace.